Welcome to Cultivating Joy, a video series produced by the Stay Well program. My name is Matt Rose, and today's topic is, it's okay to not be okay for now. This is a way of saying that many of us don't feel okay right now, and it's okay to acknowledge it. Later on, we'll talk about strategies to help you feel better. But first, see if you can relate to this.
Lately, I've been feeling a bit off. I'm not sure why. I'm not really sad, but I don't feel that happy either. I feel mentally exhausted. I feel uncertain about the future. I feel like I need to change something. I want this pandemic to end, but I don't think it ever will.
Many people are feeling this way. It turns out that there's a name for what you're feeling: pandemic flux syndrome. The name was coined by social psychologist Dr. Amy Cuddy, who says, quote, "Many people are experiencing a starkly different set of feelings, blunted emotions, spikes in anxiety and depression, and a desire to drastically change something about their lives." Dr. Cuddy says, if this sounds familiar, you might be one of the many people experiencing pandemic flux syndrome, which is not a clinical term, but seems to capture something about the moment we're living through. Several psychological processes may factor into pandemic flux. Number 1, no fresh start. When we see an opportunity to get a fresh start on something, it builds motivation. But during the prolonged pandemic, we seem to be continually denied this fresh start because of new COVID-19 variants and ever-changing health protocols. Not having a clear moment for a fresh start has been shown to increase stress. Number 2, diminished surge capacity. In emergencies, we rely on our surge capacity, a collection of adaptive systems, both mental and physical, that allows us to endure threats in the short term. But when the emergency lasts beyond our surge capacity and we can't take a break to recharge, our brains and bodies become fatigued. Number 3, effective forecasting errors. This is when we overestimate how happy or how distressed we will be in response to future events. Overestimating like this is a human tendency. For example, many of us thought when pandemic restrictions were lifted initially, we would greatly enjoy getting out and meeting friends again, going back to normal. But when it happened, many of us did not find the experience that enjoyable, resulting in a letdown from our expectations. And finally, number 4, attempting to take back control. The pandemic has made many of us feel empty. Emptiness brings discomfort, and discomfort makes us feel out of control. So the response is to try to take back control, for example, by making major life changes. It's okay to feel these things, and you're not alone. Our brains are exhausted and having a hard time navigating this up and down pandemic. We are not designed to live in a long-term state of emergency. It's difficult to rest, recoup, and also process the loss and grief of the pandemic while it's still happening. And as mentioned, your brain is not very good at predicting what will make you happy. Many of us expected we would feel much better than we did after many of the early pandemic restrictions were lifted. Social science tells us that in this environment, people more prone to anxiety are likely to want to cope by instituting a major life change, like moving across the country or getting a new job. Meanwhile, those of us prone to depression want to retreat and not engage in the world.
I'm glad I'm not alone and that these feelings are normal. But what do I do now?
I'm glad you asked. Try some of these things. You can set boundaries, limiting the amount of negative, discouraging information you take in. You can focus on the things you can control. Plan small activities to refocus your mind and replenish your energy. You can practice opposite action, which is choosing to do the opposite of what your emotions tell you to do. For example, when you're feeling depressed and sad, your emotions may tell you it's best to stay in bed. But you can choose the opposite action. That is, to get up and start your normal routine. And you can stop waiting for the pandemic to end. Human beings have the capacity to be resilient. Remembering that it's okay to not be okay can help you cope with this new normal. Thanks for watching. If your struggles feel overwhelming, we urge you to seek professional mental health services. Information and resources are available at michigan.gov/staywell. And remember, if you need someone to talk to, call the Stay Well counseling line at 1-888-535-6136 and press 8.